I'm going to call an audible. I was going to show Tyvis's swing, making the not top 10.
If you don't, I
I'm serious. You can do it afterwards.
Okay.
So McNuggets, you can.
You ain't about to get me on that, dog.
Tyvis yesterday on the show showed he first ever golf swing ever. He missed the ball and he threw his club, and it actually was number 6 on SportsCenter's not top 10.
It's crazy.
So McNuggets will show that again after this. But after hearing you, and you got like, I want to be. I don't want to try to be profound, but I want to pay respect to my father too, because Jason, like yours, my dad for 30 years went to a job that he did not love.
Yep.
And he always told me from the time I was a small child, you are going to college so you can do a job that you love. And when you do, you'll never work. You'll have a job, but you'll never really work.
Yep.
And my dad made sacrifices. I was one of 5. He was a big proponent of education, probably because he was robbed of one himself. He never had the opportunity to go to college. Because in his family, you don't go to college, you go to work. And that's what he did. And he raised a family of 5 and did a marvelous job of it. I lost my dad in 2008. I've told this story so many times, so I don't know if I've told it on this show, but when my dad was dying in 2007, the Indians were up 3-1 in the ALCS, and I was fortunate enough to work for a company in ESPN that knew how important my dad was, and they said, get on the plane and go be with Pops and stay as long as you need to stay. And I watched games 5, 6, and 7, all defeats to the Red Sox. And I knew in that moment I was going to be able to experience a championship with my dad, because the last one was in 1964, the year before I was born. And my dad told me, as when the game was over and I was fighting back tears, and my dad just stood up with his tired, ravaged body, said, I'm going to go to bed. And I'm like, Dad, you're not even upset right now. And he said, why would I be upset? I just got to watch 27 innings of baseball with my best friend.
Wow.
And it didn't end the way we wanted it to win, but I'll never forget these 27 innings for here and whatever time I get in the afterlife. This was the most important thing to me. And what it taught me was, this was the man that taught me the most important thing in life is to do your best and to win.
Yeah.
My dad always said, he coached me from biddies all the way up, show me a good loser and I'll show you a loser. He was all about the win.
Yeah.
But in this moment, he was facing his own demise and said, I want you to change the way you look at games.
Yeah.
Because they're supposed to enhance our life, not to take away from them. And I promise you, in your lifetime, you're going to experience a championship with your son, Corey. And I want you to promise me right now that whatever you're doing is going to take a back seat to what's going on in the sports world, so you can share that with your son. Because I never got to share it with you. I want you to be with him. And fast forward 8 years, the Cavs are going into Game 7. And ESPN said, do you want to be in Oakland for Game 7 or do you want to be in Cleveland? And I said, I want to be in Cleveland. My son was getting ready for the Olympic trials as a long jumper in Rutgers. And the last thing he wanted to do was leave his training. He had just gotten back from the NCAA championships, which were in Oregon. And he had to go back to California. So he didn't really want to fly a lot. And I said, I can't ask him to fly to California. So I asked him to fly to Cleveland. And I knew, guys, this is the weirdest thing. Game 7, as we all know, was on Father's Day. I had the most relaxed calm that I've ever had as a sports fan. There was very little angst. I went on SportsCenter that afternoon and held a replica NBA championship trophy, and I said, tonight we raise this. Yeah. And I knew it was going to happen that way. I knew, because I knew that my dad was up there pulling strings. And when they won, Corey and I were standing behind the SportsCenter set between Jacobs Field, or Progressive Field, and at the time, Quicken Loans. And we embraced, and we hugged, and we jumped up and down for 30 seconds, and I swear to everybody that for everything I'm worth, my dad was with us. Yeah. I felt him in that moment. And it's that relationship of father and son that is so precious. Yep. And I told you about this. I read a book recently, Tyrus, this guy, he was Snoop Dogg's bodyguard. He had a passage in the book. It was the most incredible thing that I've ever read on this topic. He was thanking people in his life, and he said, and Dad, I want to thank you for not being there, because no example was better than the example that he would have set, because his dad wasn't present. Yeah. And he said, had you been in my life just a little, I might have learned how to be a bad dad. Instead, I had to learn on my own how to be a good dad. That really hit me.
Yeah.
That was so powerful. So don't ever underestimate the power of being a dad. Be there for everything that you can. And I think one of the societal issues that we face is we don't have enough dads that are involved. And so try to be present.